wrong.
I'm really sorry.
You lucky I took time out of my schedule to be here. Y'all don't win nothing. I'm saying it again for you. How about them Cowboys? Don't worry about no damn Cowboy fans. They don't matter.
Welcome back to First Take, coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. Stephen A's Cowboys pick number 10. He'll have plenty to say about it. But what about their quarterback? Here's what he had to say about their draft plans. Quote, I think it'll be a heavy defensive draft for us. You just got to look on the offensive side at the weapons we've got. We got Amari Cooper. We got Blake Jarwin coming back from injury. We got CeeDee Lamb coming into his second year. Michael Gallup, who I think is going to have the biggest year of his career yet. And obviously Zeke Elliott is in the backfield. I just think it's obviously you go defense and just make our team better over on that side. Our guy Ryan Clark joining us now. Stephen A., how do you think the Cowboys could possibly mess up this draft?
I think
gosh.
Well, this is a very easy answer. They could
You
mess
like
it
that
up.
question, Ryan?
They can mess. I mean, we got to watch our boy Jerry Jones. You know, my Libra brother there. We got to watch my man Jerry Jones because here's the reality
Did you
of the
just call your
situation.
zodiac sign?
That's right. Well, he brought it up. You know, he even called me his Libra brother. His birthday's October 13th. My birthday's October 14th. You understand? That's what it is. That's what it is. But here's the reality.
My birthday's October 12th.
That's right,
Wow.
and yours is October 12th. Exactly. Our Libra, we brothers. Here's the deal.
What a triple header.
Wow, Libras are wild. Okay, carry on.
When you look at the Dallas
thought it was
Cowboys,
Scorpios.
I think that Jerry Jones is in love with Pitts out of Florida. He's a generational talent. He'd love to get him. And if he were to do that, that would mess things up because he went for the sizzle. You know, if you remember that, you know, obviously there was a time when Jerry Jones came to his senses and buffered that offensive line, and his son and everybody else had to convince him from not taking a Johnny Manziel and, you know, to go the route of buffering that offensive line, and it obviously ended up being the right decision. But there are many times that it's very, very difficult to convince Jerry Jones. And so when you have the second worst rushing defense in the National Football League, when you've given up over 2,530 yards rushing on a season, you definitely need to buffer your defense. There is no question about that. Now, obviously, schematically, they had to change things. That's why Mike Nolan, who never should have been there, is now gone, and Quinn is back in the mix, the former head coach in Atlanta, who's now defensive coordinator and made his bones as a defensive coordinator in Seattle. You just got to look at it, and the priority needs to be defense. When you have Ezekiel Elliott, who had a down year last year and needs to prove something again this year, you combine that with Gallup, you combine that with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and those boys, you have enough offensively. What you have to do is stop some damn people. And when they can run roughshod all over you, it will compromise your success. You've got to buffer your defense. And if you have to buffer it in the secondary so people know they have to run on you because there's no way on earth they're going to be able to throw on you, you can obviously cheat in terms of stacking the deck, stacking the pocket so nobody's able to run. But you got to do something. If they do anything, how can Jerry Jones mess it up? He can mess it up by going for the sizzle and the splash, by grabbing somebody on the offensive side of the ball and ignoring his defense. That's how he can mess this up. And we can't rule it out, the possibility that he could mess it up.
I'll rule it out. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Stephen Jones has had a good calming influence on Jerry as he's ascended in terms of power in that organization, it seems to me. And I always go back to the Johnny Manziel draft where they took Zach Martin. You think Jerry Jones wasn't salivating to take the splashiest, flashiest name in that draft at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? And they took the nice kind of understated pick, just a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. This is how I think they could mess it up, though. I don't think they will. They usually have pretty good drafts. But this is how I think they could mess it up. You know, the strength of the Dallas Cowboys has been that offensive line. And they were really banged up last year, but also Travis Frederick retired. Right? And they've done a pretty good job supplementing little pieces, free agency, second, third round pick here. But the reason they were the juggernaut on the offensive line, 4 out of 5 seasons, if memory serves, first round pick on the O-line. A lot of teams pay lip service to the O-line. The Dallas Cowboys put their draft picks where their mouth was and built a juggernaut. You want to keep that up? Or you think, you know, you sure all those guys, Collins and Martin, everybody, they're going to be healthy this year? Because they weren't last year. Have you done enough to replace Frederick on that offensive line? So and by the way, even when you talk about Zeke, whatever shape he's in or whatever people think, It's the line, right? Like you could have a less than perfect Zeke behind a great offensive line. He's going to look better. So there's a way. I don't think they will mess it up, but if they just ignore the O-line, maybe that wouldn't be great.
So here's the biggest thing. I don't think they'll ignore the O-line. I do believe that they understand what they need to do at the 10th pick. That if everything stands pat and they're at the 10th pick and Kyle Pitts is gone and those things happen, then I think they'll draft J.C. Horn. I believe he's a guy that's at the top of their board. I believe what Dan Quinn wants to do with single high safeties and cover 3 and then playing man-to-man on gotta have it downs, that J.C. Horn has the skill set and the temperament to match not only like-sized bodies or big bodies, but also with some of the smaller, quicker receivers better than Patrick Surtain Jr. does. Here is the issue. This morning, we found out, at least Todd McShay, he believes that the San Francisco 49ers are going to draft Trey Lance. But Mel Kiper thinks Mac Jones. And when saying that they're going to draft Mac Jones, he thinks that someone will want to move up to get Trey Lance. And so now, say the Atlanta Falcons make them feel like, or because the Carolina Panthers have 8, or the Detroit Lions have 7, and people can jump in those spots. If the Atlanta Falcons are willing to deal the 4th pick, and now Kyle Pitts isn't picked there, and that the Cincinnati Bengals, who are kind of zeroed in on Penei Sewell, stay there, and then something happens. If Kyle Pitts falls out of the top 5, I think that Jerry Jones is going to start to itch. I think that even if Stephen Jones is saying, no, Dad, you can't do it. Let's just chill on the yacht, drink some champagne, and wait until the 10th pick comes up, and then we can get J.C. Horn. That's what we need to do. I think if Kyle Pitts somehow falls out of the top 5, it's going to be too scintillating. It's going to be too tantalizing. And the difference between the sizzle of Johnny Manziel and the sizzle of Kyle Pitts is 2 different things. Mel Kiper says Kyle Pitts is the best tight end he's graded in 43 years of doing the job. That he's the #1 overall pass catcher in this draft. I believe positionally, he's more a transcendent generational talent than Trevor Lawrence is at quarterback. If he falls out of the top 5, Jerry Jones is going to go get him. You can mark my words on that. I believe that will happen. And I don't know if it's going to mess up the draft, but it's not going to help the defense.
Well, here's the thing, Ryan, to buffer your point, I'll give you another reason why Jerry Jones would probably do exactly what you said. Because it'll make Dak Prescott look better, which is the investment that Jerry Jones just made.
I ain't think about that.
The fact that Jerry Jones doled out all that money, he is giving Dak Prescott $40 million a year, okay? It behooves Jerry Jones to make, for his own ego that you've leaned on many occasions, Max, to point out what you lamented about him. It makes him look good. It feeds his ego. Look at my quarterback right there. Look at that man got to throw that football. Didn't I tell y'all I know what I was doing? Didn't I tell y'all I knew what I was doing? Look at that Dak Prescott. Fresh off an injury, a catastrophic injury, took him down for the season, and he comes back, and look at that old gunslinger out there. Look at him fling that football. Ain't y'all impressed? See, I do know what I'm doing. Yes, that's entirely possible that Jerry Jones might elect to go that route. Particularly if what happens with Pitts happens and he falls out of the top 5. Excuse me, I can't rule it out.
I don't see it, guys. He's got, look, Dak's got, he had an elite
Pitts himself
offense
said he
when
thinks
last
the
on
first
the
4
field.
quarterbacks.
He had an elite offense when last on the field, guys. Offense wasn't the Dallas Cowboys' problem. And insofar as the running game went back, so did the offensive line.
Max.
Guys, mainly due to injury. I'll just leave you with this, Ryan, then you take it. If you have all these receivers, like if you know, Tyreek Hill is available and so is George Kittle, let's say Kittle is a better tight end than Hill is a receiver, whatever. They're both great to have on your offense. There'll be lots of options for the Cowboys if they want to go